We're just waiting for everybody else to show up. We're not live yet. This is just the pre-show. This is what we normally will include. Well, I don't know if you watched the live or the replay at all from Saturday of the
I
show,
no.
but most of the time, what I'll tell you is that uh, sometimes I'll go live with the pre-show, but most of the time I won't. I'll just include it when we go live on you or where it airs on YouTube or for the replay on Saturday. So it's like a little bonus kind of like. So as soon as I get the live ready for the show tonight, then the people will be able to watch from that point on. That's kind of how that goes. I've
Okay.
been kind of doing a pre-show ever since we started doing stuff with the guys at Grand Forks Best Source because they're the ones who, when I went to their studio and did a show with them and all that the first time, I thought, well, let's start early. Why wait till 6 o'clock? I might as well just do it right, as soon as possible. And I just start with the pre-show, kind of warm everybody up, get everybody motivated. So
Well, and yeah, coming in cold obviously can be, well, I mean, sometimes that's just fine and
yeah.
sometimes it's not.
Well, I've always enjoyed pre-shows. Like, you watch wrestling. They'll have pre-shows, and you watch a lot of like if a big show's coming on, like Netflix or something, they'll do a big preview about it and whatever, and get you all to prepare it and ready. So I thought,
Yeah.
well, why not do that with this show? I mean, we're
Yeah.
making a little ground now, I think. So a little bit. So
Hey,
each
there's
week
a
I
hell
can,
of a lot of competition out there.
yeah.
That's definitely part of it. So I just there's yeah, that's God, it's crazy.
Yeah, so it's just the fact that I just figure, since, without trying to have a big head about anything, I just figure, well, let's just see what we can do with the pre-show. Every week is different. You never know who's going to show up. You never know what's going to, who's going to be here and what we're going to talk about right away and whatever. So I love it. It's fun. And yes, there's a lot of competition, but I don't really, I'm not here to compete. I'm just here to entertain, have fun, do the best that I can do, be a good host, and share a good time with some of my best friends online.
Well, and I think the thing that you definitely do well at, which I think is one thing that is so key and yet sometimes hard for people, is being able to keep it moving. Because sometimes the interviewee may not be the best reciprocator either. That may be
Sure.
something they're not as comfortable with. And so now you're like, oh shit,
Yeah.
okay, this isn't what I thought
Uh.
because wait
Uh-huh.
a minute, you sing in a band, you should be able to talk to all of
Oh
us or
yeah.
whatever it is.
You're a comedian. You should be telling us
Right.
jokes like left and right and everything, but yet you're quiet
Yes,
as a mouse. And yeah.
exactly. Hey, now just off the cuff, did I remember, do you have or collect Funko Pops?
I have a whole shitload at my house here. Yes, I do. I have some that
Okay.
are out of the box, but most of the time, anytime I buy them now, I just keep them in the box.
I'm the same way, and I thought that was true. I thought I remembered that just yesterday because our grandson is still here. We're going to take him back on Wednesday, and so yesterday we went to the Funko Pop headquarters because
Oh,
there's one here and then there's one down in Hollywood in LA.
I think I know which one you're talking about too, because it's like a big location and everything, and you go in and it's just like everything's like themed. It's like the ultimate. I would love to go to that. You're so lucky to have something like that in your area.
I trust me, I know. And so yesterday I went ahead because they had a Dennis Rodman. They had a limited to 5,000 pieces. And so
Okay.
I went ahead and chose to pick that up. But yeah, I as well have a little collection going too.
Well, like I can show you example for like what I have out of the box. Now, this is like early days stuff when I first started collecting. I don't know how long it's
And
show,
I
but
agree because I do have stuff. See, I
Doc,
don't even go back to Doc.
Doc Brown. Well, that's
Yep.
one that I have out of the box, but then like as far as like in the box, so one.
Yeah, see, and I got the outs too.
Well, see, I learned a little bit from other collectors. We'll just say, and not just of this or whatever, but just of anything. I learned as far as if you, and it's not about value or anything, just how it looks better. Or the presentation is what it's about.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know if this will show. If I have to turn the thing off, you can't even see it.
No.
Okay, hold on. I'll fix that. I'll fix it. Let me do something real quick here. It'll probably look a
Hey,
little. It'll probably look a little weird here. Hey, what's up there?
Hello.
What's
what's going
going
on,
on?
guys?
Oh, we're just getting the
Long
pre-show
time no
ready.
see.
Yeah, literally, we didn't, we never saw you. We just heard you.
Yeah, and then I missed last week, and yeah, it's been a crazy couple of weeks, busy, but
Here's
oh
my,
well, here we
this is
are.
the Joker.
Okay. Yep. Okay.
We're talking about Funko Pops and everything. But that green screen couldn't, I don't know. I mean, do you guys like the Renegade Radio logo behind me, or should I just keep it like this? I mean, what works?
Get,
Because at this point, it doesn't really matter. Oh yeah, holy moly!
so
Wow.
one time we'll have
Wow.
to just pick through them and have some fun with it.
Yeah, we should do like a Funko Pop episode or something.
Oh, it's
I'm
ridiculous.
sure
And
if we
that,
have nothing else to talk about.
well, that's it. And that's why, yesterday when I go up there and I see this and I'm thinking, all right, I'm going to do one and I'll do one only. And I had just picked up the tall man from Phantasm because I'm just a huge Phantasm fan and they just released him. And then I go up and I
Funny.
see the Rodman for one of the NBA games that I used to play. And I thought, all right, I'm going to do it since I try and find the stickered ones.
Well, how old is your grandson?
This one here is 12.
Oh, okay, so he's old enough to know everything about
Yes, and
Funko
that's
Pops. There.
this afternoon. We were at the skate park.
Okay, you were skating, you were doing flips and stuff and tricks like
I
Tony Hawk.
wish. I wish, man. You know what? It's not so much getting on the skateboard that makes me scared anymore. It's crashing, and I'm pretty sure I will, and I'm pretty sure it'll hurt. And I
Yeah,
just am not wanting to deal with that again.
yeah, you're not
I,
made from Terminator skull or anything like that.
no,
So,
it sucks.
well,
It's true.
John, this is as you probably remember from back in February or back in January. I think it was
Yep.
January. This is Lance Warlock. He's
Yeah,
our
I
new
remember
crew
Lance.
member.
I'm
Absolutely.
just I'm just hanging out here.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah,
and
Having some
and
fun.
again I'm Lori or Laura.
yeah.
I am
Yeah.
so happy to see you again. Looking good as ever.
Oh,
Thank you very
absolutely.
much. You the same.
Yeah. No,
Ah,
I mean, I'm happy that everything's going well as far as our. Well, see, John Roberts owns Grand Forks Best Source. He's one of the owners anyway, and he's the reason why I'm on his platform every Saturday. Him and Paul. So I have them
Okay.
to thank for
yeah, I don't
everything.
do nothing. I just said, okay, let's do it.
Yeah, but I mean, you're helping me out in a
You
way
guys do all the
you'll never
work.
understand. I mean, when
Yeah.
I found out last week we had over 7,000 people watching, I'm just like, wow. And I know that varies from time to time, but I was surprised. I didn't think
Yeah.
anybody
Yeah.
cared.
And it can only go
Man.
up.
And who was the guest on that one?
That was Woody from Buffalo Chip. So maybe
Yeah,
his
that was a good
following,
show.
yeah, maybe his following. I
Yeah, that
really
was a
don't
good
know.
show.
Yeah, and last week was good too. I enjoyed Steve. I never see. I'm not going to try to get in the habit of asking Paul every week what the numbers are. I'm not going to try to do that because I don't want to be like that. But I will even if I the next time I come down, I'll ask for like a review. Maybe of how the month went or the last few episodes or
And
whatever. Just do
let me
that.
let me talk to him. I'll talk to him tomorrow in my kind of knowing how to talk to Paul way.
You
I'll
burp
just
and
say,
then
hey,
you.
excuse me. Yep. Yep. Let me talk to him.
Oh, well, no. I mean,
That
I
way that
mean,
way you won't have to bug him and I'll make sure he sends them to you.
well, no, I don't want to be a bug about it. What I'm saying is like
No, I
the
know.
next time I come down there, which might be eventually soon or whatever, uh,
Yeah.
then I would ask him. Then I would be like, do you know how we went did all this month or whatever? Just because I will always
Right.
be
I
curious
mean,
about that.
it literally doesn't take long to find out.
So you have a
And
tally of
so
every week, then you just keep a
I
tally.
believe so because I think we've got somebody that actually does it for us or something that we belong to keeps because we know pretty good what our listenership is per show and whatever show we're doing because we do so many different ones. But
Yeah.
yeah, and I don't think it would take him that long to do. So
Okay.
maybe I'll just tell him, hey, why don't you just make a habit of doing it, just so so we don't have to bug you and it's something off your plate.
Wow, not that hard. I love bugging you guys anyway most of the time for things,
Uh,
but
I'm never
it's
hardly
okay.
there, so
I know, and I know Paul's doing all the work. I get it, but you're the one who's doing the you approved all this, so it's like I can never thank you for all. Well, I mean, I can thank you a million times, but you know what I mean. See,
yeah,
the only reason why I care about a little bit about the numbers, not a whole lot, but just a little bit, because then I wonder after a month or so if we should push the whole merchandise thing. If it means that we should go that next step, sell some shirts or whatever at least. If
well,
that's
you need to do an online thing, which
yeah.
usually makes the shirts cost a little more, but that way you don't have anything into it.
Well, he says he
So
knows
you're
somebody
not
that
stuck
can.
with a bunch of merchandise.
He says he knows somebody that can do it. Paul.
Yeah. Yep.
So
Yeah, he
I
does.
I
Yep.
just want to know if it's worth our time if enough people care enough about it about the show to want to purchase something. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's all about
Yeah.
steps, kind of. Because I
Oh,
look
I
at this
know.
now as like a side job, even though I'm not making any money yet. But it's still like my
Yeah.
dedication and our dedication and everybody's dedication. So yeah,
Yeah. Well,
that's
it's like when we started, we didn't know a damn thing about a damn thing.
yeah.
Um, it, it- yeah, it was like what was the name of that show again? Ozark. We didn't know shit about fuck, but
Oh, God, that's a beautiful show. God, I love it.
uh, but it is. It's like you said, Sean. It's baby steps. And a lot of the times too, it's one step forward and two steps back.
Sure.
Sometimes the numbers can be a little goofy. Then you got to
Uh-huh.
start looking into things like, okay, was it a holiday or was there something going on that day, and why was it? And then it all starts to come together. But yeah, yeah. No, you. This is a great show.
Yeah. I mean,
And now along with that, are there when it comes to guests, and I mean, is there, how broad a spectrum or lack thereof are you thinking
for what?
for
For a
who you
guest.
want to have on here as guests? I mean, where
Oh, well, I mean,
where is
like,
that? Open
well,
ended? I
well, I
mean,
mean, as long as they have something to do with entertainment, that's my only
okay.
Yeah.
rule. That's it. Because I don't, nothing against talking to the local guy on the street and everything, but these guys do that enough already. There's enough shows that they have, and it's not just because of being on his platform now. It's just the whole goal in the beginning when Sam and I first started doing the show was let's make it about entertainment. So if there's somebody who people know about, if there's somebody that nobody knows about that's still around, anybody. That's why when I wanted to interview your dad for the second time, I wanted to do it because first of all, for most of the people that we've had on, I've had on before, but I've never done a video interview with. You know, I've always done audio. And now I'm proud of the
Right,
audio stuff, don't
right,
get me
right, right.
wrong, but the video is more proof that you can go back and say, I know for a fact that I interviewed this person, you know, and there's no doubt about it. Nobody will be like, "Oh, you're full of shit," or whatever. You don't know what you're
Right.
talking about. No, here he is, right here. So that's kind of why I do it this way because we could do an audio interview. We have with the one person we had on, but I'd rather not. I'd rather
Yeah.
get everybody. Everybody
You
has
know,
a
it's
computer or a phone now, so
Oh
it's
yeah.
it's pretty much safe to say it's everybody, all the guest hosts on this show. It's pretty much whatever you're into would be a good guest, I think. I mean, we're
yep.
all into music, we're all into entertainment. Honey, wait, we're all
Yeah,
into
that's
entertainment,
that's
whether it be
fair.
it behind the camera or in front of the camera, behind the microphone, behind it, or ahead of it. It's all of that fun stuff.
Yeah, exactly, and that's kind of what I've been trying to say, since day one. My goal has always been just trying to make this all about entertainment, and trying to make it the best show possible. For all the people out there, and Lance, I will say this again. I don't know if I've said this before or not, but one of the reasons why I made a show like this is because of all the years of being told no and being told that I was never going to amount to anything in this type of entertainment or this type of format or business or whatever. I've been pulled to the wayside too many times and promised a lot of empty promises from a lot of people, and it's because I just believe what people told me, and I thought, well, if you have the capabilities of pushing me to, if you think I'm worthy enough to be pushed to the next level, let's do it. But then they can't do it. They make excuses, and or
Hmm.
then they tell me that this is as good as it's ever going to get, and I don't want to just settle for what's good as what you can, or this is it. I want to expand the best that I can. Now, again, I'm not trying to get a big head about anything, but I feel like I have a vision. I call myself like the Eric Bischoff of this podcasting because Eric Bischoff was a smart guy, who ran WCW. Maybe I don't think he was the guy that ended it, but he helped create an idea, and that idea was to make wrestling fun, you know, and he was the reason before or uh, with the whole NWO angle that made wrestling even more fun. And more people got into it that would never have ever been fans because they decided how cool was it at the time. The wrestling in the '90s was just like a cool thing. It still is, but it's still it's lost its vibe a little bit, but from that time. But people remember. And I always loved the way Eric, did his business. And I feel like my vision is like I have so many ideas of something that I would love to do and people that I would love to get on. But, then again, to most of the people out there, who am I? You know? But I try not to live like that. I try not to like have that attitude because I know that together we can create something special. I have nothing that I need to prove to anybody. I feel like I've done that now. I can just relax and enjoy the show. But I want to be able to let the creative juices flow. That's why I do other things too, other than just this. I do the AI music, or I vlog sometimes, or I do, live videos or whatever. It's just, it's a whole shitload of things. I wish I could just get paid to do this for a living and never have to work at the casino ever again or any other job ever again.
And
But
not rely
You
on those people who say, I'm going to do this and that.
yeah,
Cause
that's
I
right.
mean,
That's
I
right.
can't count the times it's happened to me too.
Here's the thing about John. What I love about this guy, and it's not just because of who he is or whatever. This guy has always had faith in me. He's been a follower of something I've done even before I knew who the hell he even was. We met one time at Little Bobby's, and we never really spoke after that because I thought he was kind of like Blind Dog in a way, kind of like arrogant, whatever. At the time, I didn't know, until I got to really know him because you know how radio people are. They're all like, "Oh, look at me, I'm something special or whatever." Well, I mean, I always thought that way too when I was the radio,
can
but
turn one of the lights. I didn't
Blind
scratch
Dog
that.
has always had a bigger head about things, as
I
far
know
as
why
like
not.
ego and stuff. Well, John is not like that. John
No. No.
is a nice person who cares
Can I
about
get more?
the same thing that I care about, wanted to make a difference and wanted to start a revolution, so we'll say. And he's the only guy, other than maybe my friend Reb and Sam and the guys that are on the show, who has had to believe in what I'm doing. And when I asked him to be part of the show, and he didn't hesitate at all. He could have said, "Fuck you! I don't want to be on your damn show." Blah blah blah. And that's whatever. But he accepted, and he's been a big help, not just because of Best Source, but he's just been a really good friend and someone that I can ask for advice and stuff if I need to. So there you go.
Ah,
There's your flowers, or as people say
you
now.
know, you know what? It's I actually I'm just a guy that had a pretty cool job for a long time. Um, I think we're okay. And a lot of people tend to forget that for a lot of those years, I actually made my living working construction, but I still did a radio show every day. Wife's going to the gym, so
Okay.
It's mine.
but no, I mean, and the thing is, Sean, the biz, and you and I have had this conversation a million times. It's changed so much. Back when I went, started radio in the early '80s, everybody relied on radio. You didn't have internet. You didn't have, up here in the tundra, you got a blizzard coming in. They don't know if school's on, if anything's
That's right.
open, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
Where I'd be pedaling my ass to the freaking radio or to the radio station on a snowmobile. And then sometimes you'd be stuck there for 2 or 3 days. And it was splicing and taping and cue burns, and now the terminology and the technology now, shit, I don't know how to do any of that thing. They don't need any on-air personalities anymore. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Computers are taking. I don't care if you think you have a computer that sounds as human can be, they're still not, because they don't have a personality.
Yeah.
And when people would say, "Oh, you're a DJ for whatever," no, I consider myself an on-air personality. That's what made me different from the Blind Dog and the Big Dogs and Brian Lee Rivers and whoever else.
Sure.
It's your personality, and that's what it should be. But no, it's just changed. There's no radio jobs anymore. It's hard to do. That's why we went with the video podcast thing. We're 4.5 years into it now, and it was just starting to really get out there. And we thought, well, with a town, the size of Grand Forks and East Grand Forks in this area, we lost everything local here, so let's try this. And we just started, like we said earlier, from scratch. And now it's now we got a reputation. Now we're the competition for
Yeah.
the big radio companies and the big radio giants. And
Absolutely.
so
Absolutely.
and we're
Absolutely.
in this little dinky little studio with racing pictures all over and catfish, and that's it. So
Well,
Yeah.
and coming from the music, from the band side of things, those radio DJs, those guys were the coveted gatekeepers. I mean, my God, if you could actually get to them, I mean, they
mhm.
could be responsible for
and,
so much
and
goodness.
And that's the thing. Back in the day, now you made an album to promote, or you went on tour to promote an album. Now they'll make an album to promote a tour.
Yeah.
Back then, the people knew, all the artists knew nobody's going to hear this unless it get radio play. And so they were thankful. Back in the day when it was
Oh,
fun, I mean,
oh,
these guys, they wanted to get together with you. They wanted to have a good time. They wanted to see if you could get your ass kicked out of a motel room and then talk about it the next day on the air. Because I was just good press for them.
yep.
I was lucky enough to do quite a while in country radio back before the bro country thing, and all of that stuff. And I did classic rock and classic hits, and so I was all genres. And I just had a blast, no matter what kind of music it was or what the genre was. I would never do country music now. I would have to be a classic rock guy, otherwise sports. That's it. It's
Yeah, yeah. Well, I
Ah,
mean, that's the thing about with me is like I feel like I've had a good career like as far as like my early days of learning what I could from my days at Pioneer 941. I mean, even though I don't share the same vision that they share nowadays about how they do business and everything, but at the time I was very grateful and very honored that they allowed me to learn and to do the things that I was able to do because while I fucked up in college, a year and a half later I got to volunteer and I got a free education and I got to learn, and that's where all this interviewing stuff kind of came to play. Had it never have happened, I mean, maybe I would never done it. Maybe I just would have just said, I'm just going to just be a
that's
normal
that's where
person.
I got my start. I
Yeah.
mean, I wanted to fly helicopters in the military. And all of a sudden, I was always into music and entertainment. And we took your aptitude test your junior year in high school.
Yeah.
And number one for me was law enforcement. Number two was entertainment.
Yeah.
And I found out they had like 6 openings or whatever it was per semester, and at the radio and television school in our hometown. And I mean, it wasn't easy either. I mean, you had to have your shit together with a resume, and I got accepted, and I started 6 days after I graduated from high school. So I went right into it. But day two, hey, you want to do a live show? And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? Live on the radio. And that's where I was born. I mean, I had a show there called the For Those Who Like It Loud show. And there were two instructors back in the day, and I still remember the one, Don Jorsted. God bless his soul. He was a great guy. coming up to me and he'd be like, God damn it. You know how Don Jorstad was. And
Sound
he'd
like
say, I had more
Hank
phone
Hill?
calls about this radio station last night, but I've had more phone calls about this radio station than ever before. So I don't care what you're doing, just keep it up.
I didn't know that you talked like Hank Hill, though, from King of the Hill,
Well, it depends on what kind of
though.
mood Don was. If you were just going to the Legion or just leaving the Legion.
Ah, I see. I see. Well, either way, I mean, that's why I wanted to bring everybody together because it's like, we all have something to do with entertainment in one way or another. Everybody that's been on the show, and it's like, well, I mean, let's just do something fun and here we go. We got Renegade Radio, so I'm very blessed. I'm very happy that we can do this from week to week, and no matter how things go, this show is going to last as long as it can. So there's no end in sight, for anybody who thinks that, a rain at you or something's going to bother me because that's not. It'd bother me if everybody just decided that they don't want to be part of the show no more. Everybody just on the day of airing that, I got an email from everybody saying, yeah, we're done. It's like, what? It's like, what do you mean you're done? Yeah, so all that stuff. But anyway, so you guys are all right. It's nice to have a crew that is willing to dedicate some time to what we're doing, our nonsense anyway. Well, we're gonna start things up here. Everybody should be coming here soon. I did send the link to everybody that is part of our show, and Mike Massey might make a return tonight too. I did let him know that. Well, he was on vacation for a couple weeks, I guess, and he just had other things going on. So our show was not part of his itinerary at the time. So anyway, so we're gonna start the show, and we'll just go into that. Okay. What's up, everybody? Welcome to season 3, episode number 4 of Renegade Radio. I'm your host with the most, Frankie Slauson, and I know you're probably wondering, well, where is everybody at? Well, everybody will show up one day, soon. Sometimes people get late. I mean, can I ridicule everybody for being late? Eh,
Yep.
that just get old after a while, I think. If you're a
You must
couple
have the
minutes late,
same
maybe.
watch my wife does.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I got two of the crew members anyway. Our latest recruit, the legendary Lance Warlock, and I say legendary because look him up on the Internet Movie Database.com and look him up on the internet. He's done some fun things in his life. Welcome to the show, Lance.
Thank you. It's fun.
And then we got John Roberts, the legendary John Roberts as well. We got two legends anyway. Grand Forks legend anyway.
Yeah.
How's it going, John?
Going great. Missed last week, the week before. You didn't get to see this ugly mug. It's good to be back, and it's good to have Lance on board. I remember when we talked to him a while back. It was that was a good time. So I'm excited to be back.
Yeah, we definitely enjoyed the time with Lance and his father. I remember, when it was requested that we only have one. I could pick one crew member, and I figured, well, I'll pick John this time, John Roberts this time. And I think that's the only other time that Sam has ever had a break from the show because he's been pretty much on the show every week, every episode that we've done so far. So
Yeah.
other than that one episode. So if he told me he had some things going on tonight where he might be late or he might not be able to make it. I said, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. But the only thing that we got going on tonight in another hour is that we will be joined by local musical talent from the Moorhead area, the Blue Wailers. They're going to be one of the bands performing at this year's Fargo Blues Fest, and it'll be an honor to have some of the band members. I don't know if we'll get everybody on, but whoever can make it. I know Michael is the one who I sent the email to, so he'll be here, and then whoever he has picked or asked or whatever, because they all have jobs. You know how it goes. I mean, it's like, you think that, oh, they're a band, that's all they do, right? Oh no, not when you're in a local band. If you're like in maybe a well-known rock and roll band or something, you're touring, then sure, but in the local world, I'm sure.
Even
Yeah, go ahead.
even the big time bands back in the day, very rarely did you get to interview all of them. You might
Yeah,
get stuck with one in the dressing room or one in the freaking bathroom somewhere. So that's tough to do. But there's 6 guys too, so that's
yeah.
tough to get all those guys together.
Well, and this was kind of like as soon as our show was done last week, I started looking around. Well, I kind of asked them little bit before then, just to kind of get an idea of who they were and everything. I watched some of their promo videos and stuff, and I think they're great. I even by what I heard, the little video that I heard, there was still they definitely clicked together. They seem like they all have a passion for the music industry, regardless, of being a big name or not. They're a big name in the local area, so that's cool. When you can reach that status. I don't know how long
They're a
they've
good
been
band.
together. I don't know how long they've been together, but it seems like I've heard the name a few times in the last 10
Yeah,
or
they've been
15
around for a
years.
while.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Have they played a
No, they're a
Grand
good
Force?
band.
They played a Grand Force before?
I asked my wife, I said, have we seen them? Because, I mean, we have been to so many blues shows. I mean, we never missed a Fargo Blues Festival for the first like 15 years. And now we haven't been there in a while for a few years. And we do a lot of blues shows. We used to do the Last Chance or the Last Ride Blues Fest in
Yeah.
Thief River there, Fargo and all over. But she goes, I'm sure we've seen them somewhere. And I know they're playing again this year, so it'd be a good day to go see them.
Yeah. 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 Well, I mean, it will be a nice day outside. The weather should be good for that, hopefully, anyway.
Now, educate me as far as with the Fargo Blues Fest, what kind of a level of a band is there requirements? I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, do they have
You
entry
get
level?
Yeah, you'll get some local bands. I don't know if I'd call them entry level. They're pretty good
Okay,
local
okay,
bands. Not
okay.
everybody, but over the years, I have seen bands like Jeff Healy, Canned Heat, Keb Mo, Joe Satriani, which I don't know why he was there.
Yeah, that's weird.
The Ozark Mountain Daredevils, I've seen them there. A ton of these bands in the Blues Fest, so they've had good, but Walter Trout. Uh, Guys like that. But it to me it it's so much fun. I was with some Canadians the other night at the racetrack I work at, and they were one of them was trying to tell the other ones about the Fargo Blues Fest in Newman Stadium, because it's in a baseball stadium, outdoor stadium,
Okay.
and they set up in the back middle the stages and stuff, but the whole outfield, the grass, is where you can set your little camp up with your chairs and your blankets, and you can walk on that stuff barefoot. It's plusher than the plushest carpet, and it's a really really good time. You get a half hour between bands, so you can walk out, go to your little campsite at the parking lot, open up the trunk, pull out your lawn chairs, eat a sandwich, drink a beer, go back in, buy a drink, and enjoy another hour of music, and go about and do it again. And you do that for 2 days, and it's a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
So
Uh,
up here in the eastern side of the state, they have the Winthrop Blues Fest, which I think it's been going for 20 plus years. And it again, the stature, same thing. The notables
Yeah.
started going, we need to stop. We need to make that a part of the tour. Instead of just a pickup date, it became a date, and man,
Yeah.
I'll tell you, it's huge.
yeah, I've been to the Fargo Blues Fest a couple times. I went in 2019 and I went in 2020. And I was gonna go planning on going this year, but then I realized that I got the dates wrong. Well, I didn't get the dates wrong. I got the pay schedule wrong for my pay, for my job and everything. And now because this past week I finally went and did the thing that I was going to do. Well, the reason why I worked the holidays, the 4th and the 6th anyway of July, because we got holiday pay on our checks, for working at the casino, extra time anyway. And so I went and purchased a brand new TV that you can probably see in the back. And I can barely see it, but it's in the back there anyway. It's a 55-inch QD or no, TCL QD mini LED TV, and yes, it is a higher end television. It's definitely what you would call a higher end as far as the specs and everything that's on it. It's not a standard 4K TV by any means, even though it does have all the things that a 4K TV does have, and then some. Like they call it more of a premium Everybody's going with the word premium now, but that actually means something nowadays. They're premium, So all the TVs I
It's
have
like going to a
now,
Mexican restaurant and it's grande.
yeah, yeah, you get extra beans or whatever, so you'll have the extra farts
A
I
later.
want that
Cadillac
grande.
margarita.
Yeah, yeah, that's right, Cadillac from like 1975 or whatever. Yeah, where it's like a long stretchy Cadillac. Yeah. Anyway, I, my sister was kind of surprised that I went with TCL because I don't like TCL in the first place because that brand to me is very generic. Just because of their standard TVs. My family has bought a lot of their TVs, their standard TVs, and they don't last that long. Like if a bulb goes out, then all you hear is audio. You don't see no video anymore, and then you're like wondering, well, what the hell happened, and blah blah blah. And the funny thing about it is like it doesn't, I don't understand why they continue to, they don't learn from their mistakes. They continue to just keep buying the same TV, again and again and again, and still have the same things happen. Well, I decided that if I'm going to go TCL this time, because I've never owned a TCL, so this is my first time, I want to go a little bit more higher end, but I'm not going to spend that much money because I don't have that much money to spend. But it definitely is a well earned reward for just because I wanted to do this for a while. So I went with it was $550. That's not much compared to how expensive some TVs are, but it's a 55-inch model. There were, I believe, Amazon was competing with Best Buy because Amazon was doing or Best Buy was competing with Amazon because Amazon was doing the Prime sales last week, Prime deals or whatever. If you guys shop on Amazon, anyway, so
My
Best
wife
Buy,
does.
yeah, so Best Buy was
Hot.
also doing the same thing, kind of, with all their TVs or whatever. So I went and picked up that, and I tell you, the difference between this TV and a regular standard TV, it has to do with lighting, has to do with clarity, has to do with no cloudiness. If you buy a big screen TV, especially, and it's a standard TV, most TVs, even though they look beautiful and pretty, uh, they will have cloudiness. If you, depending on what angle you want to watch the TV at, or even if you get close up to it, sometimes it'll be a little bit cloudy and everything. Well, this TV doesn't do
You know
that.
what though? How old are you?
I'm 40.
Okay. He doesn't know what cloudiness is yet, guys.
I was going to say, but what if your eyes are always cloudy? Now what?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I'm like, wait a minute. That's not part of the TV? It's like cloudy extra. I mean, you're still young. He can see that shit. I couldn't. I'm like, long as I can watch my sports, I don't give a shit, you know?
Oh,
But
so
you know what I mean, though.
that's
Like a
funny
lot of
though.
people like
Right.
just the
Oh,
standard
yeah.
stuff. I mean, I'm just sick of
Absolutely.
saying.
Absolutely.
I'm just
Quality
Now,
is
sick.
nice.
do
Yeah.
you game on this TV at
Yes, I
all?
do.
Okay.
Absolutely. I just hooked up my
Yeah. See, I don't
Xbox
do any of
so
that stuff. So
What's the game of choice? Is
it's
there
well,
a
right now it's Watch Dogs Legion. So
okay?
I have it on my
uh,
Xbox. I got the Xbox Series X, so the one that looks like a refrigerator, and that one it does really well, on performance. It can do 120 hertz refresh rate. Most TVs are only clocked at 60. That's a difference in smoothness, and it has free sync and everything, AMD free sync, so there's no screen tearing at all. Who hates screens tearing? I hate that when you buy play like a PlayStation 3 or 4 or whatever, then you
And
get it on a standard TV, and all of a sudden it's like tearing I mean, it just looks awful. And then it's
yeah,
just
God,
like,
I hate that.
yes, of course you do. I tell you,
I,
make fun
I
all
got
you
to
want.
stand up to watch a half-hour sitcom or I'll fall asleep.
Hey, you can make fun all you want. I don't give a shit. But you know what? I wanted a
Oh,
higher
no, I'm not
quality
making
TV.
fun of you. I'm not
no.
making fun of you because I know race car drivers that I'm going to call them gamers because they do it in the off season. They do it with all these other guys. And some of these guys, like my buddy here, has got two real simulators and they're
Oh,
built out of sprint cars. So you
gotcha.
are in it and they'll beat you up and that's gaming, and I could do that all freaking day long and night. It's just I'm afraid to do gaming or play any of those video games because I'm afraid I'll get addicted.
To
I
get,
don't know
yeah,
if
to
you
get
guys can
sucked in.
see.
Yep, yep. Oh
That's the
yeah.
box anyway. I know it probably doesn't come in that great, but yeah. So I mean, I'm happy with it. I love Best Buy. I mean, I'm sad that they don't do physical movies anymore, but I'm glad that I can go there and get some good electronics. That's
Hello, everybody.
what's going on, Mad Dog? How you
Hey
doing?
guys, Antique Man,
Yeah, what's going
Hi.
Anthony,
on? How you
good
doing?
man.
Yeah, good.
Good evening.
Good evening. How you guys
Where's
doing
my
tonight?
bro at?
He's helping a guy out in Pittsburgh, I think, trying to like who had some car trouble or something. So he said he'll try to make it, but if you don't,
Oh, my
if you
cousin. We
don't, yeah,
Florida.
if he isn't able to, that's okay. Because if there's a guy that deserves a break from being on the show, it's him. He's been on the show every time. He's only missed once, so it's okay.
I never missed.
No, no, him. I'm talking to your brother. I'm talking to Screaming Sam. He's been on every episode besides one, and that was the one when we had Lance on, when I had John Roberts, and help me with the interview with Lance and Dick. So
I was
anyway,
absent.
yeah. You were there. You remember. You had a good time, and you even complimented how happy you were. And you said you keep your notes from all the shows. I don't even keep any notes from any of the shows. I don't even write notes at all. It's all up here. That's a note right here.
Yeah, I lost all that in the beginning of the '80s, man. I don't
Right.
have that up here capacity anymore. So that's why
Well,
I take notes. I
you
can't
could
remember stuff like 11.
maybe you could write a book about all your things you don't remember, like the things I don't
Right.
Just
remember.
call it. I'll just title it Notes.
No,
Notes through the years.
yeah, that's right, and not musical notes either, just real notes.
I forgot
I've
about
Like
taken
that.
I've taken notes for every show I've done at Grand Forks Best Source since day one, and I've
okay,
still got the notes from every single show. I file them in 2 months at a time. I file all my notes, so I still
so
have notes from every single show.
so you must have a bunch of folders all like stacked high then.
Yeah, that file cabinets. Yeah,
There's a
Okay,
book. There's a book waiting to happen right there.
yeah,
just
Sure.
based on that. Oh
yep.
yeah, absolutely. So, guys, tonight we have the Blue Wailers on for Antique Man and Mad Dog just
Yeah, I
joining
see
us.
that.
Yeah, do you know the Blue Wailers and all their Antique Man? Have you ever heard of them before?
Just a little bit. Yeah, and they sound really good still. I got a question unrelated, a little technical question.
Sure.
I'm on my iPhone here, but I also have the desktop behind me. And it used to be when we went to your site, there was something that said live, and you could click on that. You still
Okay.
doing that? I'm not
Uh,
seeing the word live on your Renegade.
On
oh,
the iPhone you own, it'll come up when the live begins.
Yeah, but on the is that the same thing with the desktop? Is what I'm saying.
I don't know. I mean, I haven't
You don't
really.
use the desktop.
Well, I do. But like, as far as like to being able to see it and click on it, like it does say live on mine, like for me. But that's probably because I'm the host, maybe. But it should say live. It should say live on everything else, too. So
Yeah. Well, what I'm seeing right now is an old one with me with the black shirt on, and Sam's there, and everything. You're there.
okay,
That's
Oh,
uh,
good. My eyes aren't cloudy. It's blue.
that's a
yeah.
rerun.
Oh Jesus Christ! It was cloudiness. Go to meteorology school then. Jesus Christ! You're talking about
Anyway,
cloudiness.
it's I just like to have the desktop on in the background,
Oh sure. No,
but
that
it's not working. I'm not
yeah.
seeing the
I
live.
think maybe what's going on is you're having problems with it refreshing, like giving you an updated image or an updated, picture of what's actually happening because it should show us all five of us, me up
But
top here, and Lance right there, and
yeah,
down there, and you were in blue shirt, and Mad Dog at the
yeah,
bottom.
yeah.
So
That's weird. The only thing I'm getting, and then I'll stay quiet on it, is a screenshot about the Blue Whalers, and then
okay,
you got your logo on there, arrows to go left or arrows to go right, but
Well,
I'm not seeing the show.
Well, maybe let's see. Maybe that has to do with the audience thing again.
Okay.
Of course, it goes friend. Well, you're a friend of mine, so you should be able to see it. Try it
Yeah.
again
Okay.
now. I updated it to go to public. I thought I had that set already.
Oh wait. Yeah.
Try
Okay.
again. Is it you seeing it now?
I'll work on it. You can go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I had it set to where it should be public. I do, about a month ago or 2 months ago, Mama T gave me shit about that. That was one of the
Okay.
things that she was like, "Oh, you should set it to public." And I was like, "I thought it was on public. Here it's been set on friends of friends." And I'm just like, "Well, everybody that's on here is my friend on Facebook, other than Lance, but that's just because you don't have a Facebook."
Okay.
Yeah, I
I'll
was going
work
to
on
say
it.
that sounds pretty rude.
Yeah. My friend, but not my friend. Anyway, so I want to, we were talking about doing some segments, and I'm pretty sure nobody's got any segments prepared. I'm sure, huh? Anybody have anything to prepared or anything at all? Nothing?
Like, really? A segment? I don't know how to do that. I have to have my wife get me on the computer here, man.
You host segments on your show every day. You're doing the news.
I
you're
have
doing
producers.
Yeah, but you're doing a segment.
Oh, like,
you're doing a show.
okay,
You're doing
okay.
You're talking.
What do we? Okay,
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, you can 10 minutes to talk about whatever you want to talk about.
like jokes my neighbor tells me.
Sure, why not? Why not? Absolutely, sell us a joke to kick us off.
All right. Why don't you ever see elephants hiding in trees?
I don't know.
Because you never.
Because you're really good at it.
Wah, wah, wah.
I got a better one for you. This one will make you probably think twice about me, but just know it's filled with love and good intentions anyway.
All right.
Why do women walk funny?
Oh boy.
Nobody can figure that out. Why do women walk funny? Come on, somebody has to know. Oh, I gotta say it now. Oh, great! Everyone's gonna hate me now because because they're lipstick.
Hey, John, what's the difference between a loaf of bread?
I don't know. Oh, I didn't hear it.
What's the difference between an elephant and a loaf of bread?
I don't know.
I'm never sending you to the fucking store.
Wow, I think mine's still better.
I was reaching for stars there, buddy.
Come on, Antique Man. I know you got a better joke. Come on, you're the man of comedy.
I got a lot of elephant jokes, but I'm going to tell a true story. Just the other night, Denise said, "Eric, you spend too much time on your cell phone playing that game." She said, "You're going to get addicted to it." I said, "Denise, don't bother me right now. I'm playing a game."
Wow.
That went over really well.
I think my joke's still better. I don't know.
I'll be doing something on my phone and my wife will be talking to me. And the thing is that I've already been on it or reading the paper, reading something, whatever. And she'll come and start talking and I won't, she doesn't think I'm paying attention. And finally she just go, "You're not even paying attention to me." And then I'll repeat what she started talking about. And you can't win. That even makes them more mad.
Well,
I was in radio all them years. You listen to one thing in here and you're reading a paragraph ahead of what you're talking about. And I can do it. And it makes her mad, that I'm paying attention, but I'm not paying attention.
How about Lance? Lance, you got to have a joke. Come on now.
So I cannot ever remember any jokes, but since I'm a drummer, the only thing I'm going to lay down is, what do you call a drummer without a girlfriend?
Drummer without a girlfriend.
Something about offbeat or
homeless.
Homeless. Okay. I still think my joke
I thought that was the bass player.
Well, that's the one, because I think that when the drummer's locked in, he's locked himself in the car and he can't get out because the bass player has the keys. It's always the drummer and the bass player. I worked
they
in
get no
retail
love.
for many years, and man, I tell
Yeah,
you,
they
some of
get
the
no
best
love.
ones are drummers and bass players.
Yeah, geez.
Yeah.
Well,
Man,
I'm sorry. Being a lead singer, I've never had that problem.
this is a bunch of
Wow.
Nope, I know the light bulb joke.
Yeah. Well, I gotta say, even though I'm not trying to be a comedian, but I think my joke was probably the best tonight. Because you weren't expecting that at all.
Yeah.
I wouldn't expected that
I
that
don't-
that result anyway.
what joke was it? I forgot it already.
Oh, about the why do women walk funny?
Oh
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, and
We're gonna
I
all repeat that one
But
tonight.
yeah, that'll go over well. I
It's for the
will say
kids.
that I will say I did a little bit of homework this week, and I did listen to the Mad Dog theme song, and
Oh.
I'm pretty dang impressed.
Oh wow.
Yeah, yeah.
The curiosity was peaked real high, so I had to check that out.
Oh, that's
Fantastic.
funny. I wonder.
I have one more little joke, and it's kind of personal to me. But as Mom got older and stuff, we would drive.
Go ahead.
We would drive downtown. And I said, "Hey, Mom, yeah, they named a store after you." And she'd say, "They did? What was it?" I said, "Antiques." And then she'd hit me with her cane.
Oh, jeez.
Oh,
That's horrible.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
No, she had a great sense of humor.
Yeah, I would say so. I'd say so.
I got a long one. See, I got long jokes.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. A German, a Polack, and an Italian are in the airplane and it's going down fast. They're going to wreck. It lands in native country. So the natives catch them and they tie them up. And they're in cannibal country, I mean. So the first cannibal goes up to the Italian. They said, before we skin you alive, use your skin for our canoes. Break your bones, use your bones for our weapons. You have any last request? And the Italian goes, can I have a knife? And they give him a knife. He goes, hell to Mussolini, cuts his throat. So they go to the German guy and said, before we skin you alive, use your skin for our canoes. Break your bones, use your bones for our weapons. You got any last request? He goes, I'll have a knife. He goes, Hi, Hitler, cuts his throat. So they go, they said, before we skin you alive, use your skin for our canoes. Break your bones, use your bones for our weapons. You got any last request? He goes, I'll take 2 forks. And they're like, why do you want 2 forks, you dumb punk? He goes, try to make a canoe out of me now.
Okay.
Wow.
Hey, Sean.
Yeah, what's up?
Whatever you're doing on your computer is blocking my computer off.
Oh, is it? Is it
Yeah.
It to be slow?
You guys are just up at the top now, little teeny little.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but can you still see it live though? I mean, can you?
Barely.
Yeah.
I'm
It's
sharing
just-
I'm sharing my screen with you.
Kind of a
guys.
little cloudy.
Oh, you're a little cloudy. You know what? When we need a little humor, I'm trying something here. I'm trying to experiment here because we never done this.
Okay. Well, I thought it was me, and my wife is at the gym, so I got no help here.
Can everybody hear that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't not.
One sock cutter, he cut socks. Two sock cutters, they both cut socks. Morning comes, their work's all done. But they won't stop till they've had their fun. Pluck mother pheasants,
Yeah,
sing their
something.
song. Feathers fly where they belong.
Everybody's going. I don't
All
know.
right. I just wanted to make sure everybody could hear that because I thought, well, maybe if we're bored of a segment, I can show you guys some of the things that I've been working on as far as my AI music and I mean it's just
Hogan.
huh?
Like Hulk Hogan tonight.
Yeah, yeah.
Where's your virus, brother?
What about this one here? This one you're talking about?
Yeah.
This theme song.
Play my music. It's mine.
Yep. Come on.
This is my music.
Mad dogs on the prowl. In the ring, take you down. One by
That's good.
There you go.
Thanks,
you go.
Sean.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. I'll shut this down now. So just hold on here.
Oh, I like that. That's pretty
Talking
cool.
I can't hear.
Talking about Hulk
Yeah, that is
Hogan,
cool.
did you guys see him at the RNC the other night?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. He
Yeah.
was the best.
He's an
Oh.
entertainer.
Yeah, that's for sure. I didn't think I'd ever see a rip out.
Couldn't wrestle. He had to entertain. Come on. The big leg drop, and then he throws a pin. Get the hell out of here.
Yeah, I was surprised that that he was even part of that. I was not expecting that when I got home from work one night and I saw the YouTube video of it. I was like,
He's
wow.
an American.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's right, brother.
Oh.
Say your prayers.
Say your prayers,
Brother.
and drink my
He
beer.
almost sounds like Blind Dog. Yo, brother.
Don't put Blind Dog up on the pedestal. That'll give more of an Eagles trip. You know, that guy, he'd rather be with more cougars than he can handle, So
Hey,
he makes fun of me thinking that I'm a virgin and yet because of how I dress or whatever, and yet, that guy would rather be with somebody who probably can't even see him at all, probably. Another blind person.
Wait,
So
did
good
you
luck to him.
say he thinks you're a virgin because of the way you dress?
Yeah.
How the fuck do you dress? Like a
dress-
virgin?
There's a little boy's got outfit still.
I wear shirts. I wear sometimes I wear a
You got a
shirt,
padlock on your zipper?
Yeah.
He wears shirts.
He still wears his Boy Scout uniform.
And the thing is, you guys don't know Blind Dog, but Frankie, he can't see you anyway.
I beg to differ, my friend. I beg to differ.
I mean, he can see a little bit.
I beg to differ. That guy can see more than he tells you. I tell you, because trust me.
I wouldn't let him. I wouldn't let him get under my skin. No,
I don't. But it's just like the guy has an eagle the size of a watermelon without seeds.
Hello, McFly.
Hi, Mad Dog. We see you. We hear you. No, I don't mean to roast him, but it's just we're talking about him. It's kind of fun, He has a lot to say all the time.
The show ain't what it used to be either. Radio's changed. I had a chance to go back there on that morning show, and I said absolutely not. Didn't want nothing to do with it. So I don't know. As long as they're having fun, I guess.
I tell you, all you guys on my team all have a face for radio.
Exactly. Yeah, now my crap's on. Now you can see me like we're doing now, and that's why I always have on my show. I have the big mic, and it's always like this. I mean, I don't want to see my face. I look in the monitors, and I see myself looking at myself, and it kind of creeps me out. So I don't like that. I try to cover my face up.
I got a big thing like that, and that's what my wife does with it.
Oh God! Well, see, that's a joke. That's a funny joke.
Hey, I got kicked out. You know why?
Why?
I got caught eating a brownie.
Dude, that fucking joke's. I heard that joke when I was 5 years old.
Yeah, you caught eating a fucking ho-ho.
He probably thought he was part of the Gay Boy Scouts, being part of the Wee Belows,
Oh my God!
Yeah, I'm just kidding. I was a Boy Scout for 8 years. I enjoyed every minute of it. It was a great time.
I was too.
I was a Boy Scout. I was close to being an Eagle.
Get a picture.
Hey, I made it up to.
I can find.
I made it up to Weebelows, like you were talking about.
Did you blow much?
No,
at all?
I never made it to Boy Scouts, so just Cub Scouts and Weebelows.
Listen, I was only gone for an hour, right? And you guys are fucking turning this show into an X-rated show.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's right. It's only allowed when you're not on the air, when you're not here. That's all.
You don't trust me. That's why you're doing it.
Well, I mean, I this show, you never know about how it's going to go sometimes. And
Johnny was in the Richard Simmons video when he was that little.
I hemmed his shorts.
Don't talk about him. He just died last week.
Yeah, who gives a fuck?
Yeah, you brought him up there. Well, anyway, I was going to say, the jokes, we did a little joke segment. Sam, do you have any segments at all anything you want to talk about or that's important to you at all or anything?
No, I just want to apologize for being late because my cousin broke down in Greenville, Pennsylvania. I had to go. My truck was broke down. My truck just got fixed the same time my cousin called me, so I was able to go get my trailer put back on my truck Go pick him up in Greenville. Come back here.
Wow.
John, Jimmy broke down.
You're a
Jimmy.
good man.
Why? What happened? His truck break down
No, his bike on the way back from Pittsburgh.
this morning.
On the way back to Pittsburgh, he broke down. So I went and did all that. And then I'm like, then my buddy drops his motorcycle at my house, needs a ride home. I go, my cousin will drive me home. The kid was scared to death to see my cousin driving him home. I was a young kid. My cousin looks like a raper, like a fucking murderer. And,
That's heartwarming.
yeah, so he wasn't real happy, that kid. But everything worked out good. I'm here. I'm late. But like we have a guest night, right?
We do.
Yeah.
We have a guest at 7
All right,
o'clock
you're a
today.
little late, man.
Yeah.
Well, he's gone already.
No.
No.
The guests. There'll be more than one today. We have the Blue Wailers tonight.
Oh, you mean, wait, what time did you
Band.
start the show?
John,
We
you
started the
missed
show at 5:30.
Bills.
A pre-show anyway, like normal. And Lance was the first one to join me, which was a surprise.
Yeah.
And then John came on, and then everybody else.
So we're not even close to being done.
Well, we will be
No.
at 7 o'clock. We'll have a guest on, and then
Oh, I
we'll
didn't
talk
know.
to him for about half an hour. Then we'll be done.
Oh, I thought I missed it all.
No.
No, you haven't missed nothing, man.
No, we
Just
did
a bunch
that.
of really bad jokes and younger people
Did
bragging
Sean
about their vision.
talk about me while I was gone?
Oh no, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Not at all.
Nobody worried
Nope.
about you. Hoping you weren't coming back.
Huh?
I can leave.
No.
I thought it was 7 o'clock already. Oh, that's
Well,
your.
yeah, your time is 7:30. My time is 6:30. Lance's time is 5:30.
Yeah.
You dropped me about 6:30, about 7:30, right? Didn't I tell you? 7:30?
Yeah,
Yeah.
See, it's real time here.
That's
6:30.
that's
No,
right.
that's fake time. There's
Now that's
Eastern time is the right time, guys. You guys are all fucked up over there.
Did you see Bigfoot and the moose fucking today or something?
Huh?
Look, I didn't shave for the show. I didn't get a shower.
Hey,
yet.
did you ever see a Bigfoot? I belong to the Bigfoot club around here. I like Bigfoot. You believe in Bigfoot?
Well,
I do.
do you have a big?
I do.
So okay, so
I don't know.
you have heard of the Bigfoot Research Organization, the BFRO.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So-
yeah.
My buddy in the Eastern Washington is one of the guys for that region, and Bob Saget, before Bob passed away, he was putting together these shows, and his crew hired my good buddy Paul to take him over on the Olympic Peninsula to be a part of this. I don't know if Bob's shows were ever released. I don't even remember a ton of the details because it's probably 12 years ago.
Is he on that
Even
show?
up here in northern Minnesota, there are places that no one's ever stepped foot on. I can guarantee it. Beltrami State Forest, you get up into the Boundary Waters area, there's plenty of places around the United States and the world, I think, where something could live. I'm amazed nobody's killed one yet. And if they have, they kept shut about it. They kept their mouth shut about it. But I don't know. It's kind of like aliens, I guess. I think
I was just going to say
I
that.
almost feel like I'd be kind of selfish to think we're the only people that could, or anything that could live anywhere when you look at how big the universe is and stuff. But
Every time you see a Bigfoot, you see an alien ship fly away or something.
Wait, I see Bigfoot.
what's that? I think I've seen aliens before or ships, but I've never seen a Bigfoot.
Uh-huh.
But I believe in them. I do. I mean,
Yes,
I
see,
spend a lot of time in the woods. I hunt a lot of animals. I hunt bear, and I used to hunt moose and all these other things. And there's some shit that's gone on in the woods where you have no explanation for it at all. It's like, what could have done that? You can't think of an animal that could do damage 9 feet off the ground like that. But I don't know until I see one. I'm just glad whenever I'm out there like that, I have a gun with me or numerous guns.
Do you see? Is anybody seeing it? Good.
Look, there he is, Bigfoot.
Antique Man got Bigfoot on the show live.
He's
Yeah.
right behind me.
I see
Hey.
him.
Wow. That's funny.
Yeah, I'm a Frenchman. I'm a French Canadian. That's Luc the Rook.
Yeah,
Bigfoot
that's
in
what they call
Texas.
Looks like a big furry penis there. Is what I see. But anyway.
How do you say that? Luke DeLuke?
Luke Darouk. It's like Yeti. I think that's the real French pronunciation.
Wow,
I don't know
that's
how it's
cool.
spelled.
That's cool.
Huh.
If in the
Interesting.
ghetto, he's called Big Motherfucker here.
They were talking
See, I
about
understand
Bigfoot,
that more. I understand that
so I
language
went and
more.
showed him our Bigfoot.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting.
Oh yeah, you take off your shoe. You didn't have to walk that far.
There,
Oh, we get to see
come
it.
on,
Wow.
Denise, they can't see that well from me.
Oh, you
All
got a
right.
big ass house there, man. Holy moly.
Oh, there's Denise. Say hi.
Oh,
Wow, you must have like a little mansion there, Antique Man. I've never seen
Yeah,
the
that's
outside of your
Denise.
house. Okay.
She doesn't want to be on the show.
Aw.
Yeah,
Camera
her
shy?
hair's not quite right.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Tell her to put some shampoo in it. I don't know. Anyway.
Oh well, that's the end of the tour.
Okay.
I
See,
like
for,
Big
guys, give me
Dude,
1
that.
minute.
see, for some reason, I thought you lived in a trailer house. You know, I don't know why I thought that vibe, but because the
you
guy looked
serious?
like, well, I thought he lived in a trailer house. I didn't know. I never
Well,
seen.
no.
It
Hey,
looked
you
like,
right.
you know.
live in a trailer.
Well, like I live in a small house, but I don't, like everybody thinks that. Well, it's not a trailer house either. It's just a duplex, but
It's an outhouse with windows.
it's an outhouse with windows. That's right. That's right. Exactly. Yeah. Amen to that. Anyway, so yeah, so we'll have the Blue Whalers on. We're sending them the link here a little bit here for them to come live here with us. But
Who's got time to get a coffee?
well, you have plenty of time. Make coffee. I mean, you can do whatever you need to do. You don't have to. It's up to
Coffee.
you.
I'll be back.
I'll still be running. We'll still be doing the show, so don't worry. Anybody need bathroom breaks or whatever? Remember, I'm with old people, so people need bathroom breaks. You know,
Hang on.
I'm just
What a
I use the restroom a lot too, so ask the people.
I
at
would
work,
if I could get up, but I can't
Uh,
get out of the chair.
I wish we could do like a little thing where we have intermission and then we'll be right back. But then it's like, but then people probably, well, I mean, we don't know who's all watching anyway tonight. But we appreciate everybody that is watching, by the way, whoever is out there. Normally, I don't pay attention to the chat. I normally have Sam or anybody else to pay attention to the chat because it's just they're more on tact about it. So if we haven't responded to you or anything, we apologize. We're just kind of
fun on that
having a fun little show today, just about random things. And one of the things I did want to talk about. Now this is probably making a little bit of a downer. I don't mean to do this either, but it just I gotta get off my I gotta get
Go ahead. Get it off
get
your
out of my
chest.
chest, because it kind of bothered me from a week ago. It had nothing to do with the episode or anything. It's after the episode of something that I found out. And okay, so for you that know that when I lived in South Dakota, I used to do a radio show. Well, we did a radio show with Reb Ryder, who was my co-pilot pretty much. Like he was like how Sam is and how you guys are. We do a show all the time because we had a radio station in his house. Well, he passed away here last month, and I made a little tribute video, in tribute to him and stuff. Because even though we haven't spoken in quite a long time, because the problem was he always wanted to shut everybody out, and I wasn't the only person that he tried to shut out, but it was a lot of it was because of him that I left South Dakota and came back to Minnesota because of the way everything was just happening and whatnot. Well, when he passed away, I lost contact with a lot of people from around that area, like who I haven't talked to in a long time. But we had a guy who I lived with, or that lived with us when I lived with Reb, who lived downstairs, like one room away from where I was, and he and I were good buddies. We always hung out. Basically when Reb and I couldn't hang out, or when Reb didn't want to hang out, I hung out with this person, and we always did fun things together. We always had good times, and got to get to know each other pretty well. And I can definitely say he was a like one, a best friend at that time. Uh, the last time I had spoken to this person was about almost 2 years ago,
Oh,
and so I didn't know if he still had a Facebook page. I didn't know if he was still, what he was up to, and I had no idea if he knew that Red passed away. So I was going to let him know just in case if he didn't know. So I go on his page and I start scrolling, and he hasn't updated much in a while. Come to find out, he's been dead for over a year and a month. And I was just
Ooh.
like, oh, I just, I just couldn't believe it. I mean, I just like, oh, I kind of had a little emotional meltdown when I found that out because I thought he was only 28 years old. And I asked his sister the next day, I said, somebody has to let me know what's going on because I can't believe I'm just finding this out now, like after all this time. And nobody told me, not even Red when he knew about it, never told me. Nobody, as close as we were, he never told me nothing.
We've had numerous people in the last couple of months involved with racing up here die. Jeff Liebrick, a good friend of ours, just died the other day at 63. Julie Peterson, she died at 50, whatever. And then this Nick Minsky, another race car driver, died at 34 a couple weeks ago. He's got 5 kids. And I'm the guy, because I open up the show, and I'm the guy that has to do these tributes. And it's hard when they're your friends and you've known
Oh
them for
yeah.
a long time. I quit writing them. And I know a couple of people that are so good at it, and they know them as well as I do. They write for a magazine and stuff, so I talk to them, and they all know we're on the same page, and they write this beautiful stuff. But I tell you what, the one I did just this last Friday night was probably 2 minutes long, and I don't pre-read it because I'm afraid I won't be able to make it through, and I have to read it. So I'm a ripping reader, and you damn near cry. And it's horrible when you hear this stuff, that people pass, and especially when they're that young.
My
Well,
best
Nobody keeps
month
with
ago.
social media now. We should be able to know everything about everybody all the time.
yeah. See,
you think?
the thing about it was that he when I found out what happened, it wasn't suicide or anything. He had a heart attack at the age of 28. He was only in his like early 20s when I met him, and we knew each other for 2 years, and I just I try not to let death bother me too much, because it doesn't happen all the time in my life. Like I've lost people that I thought were still alive, and here find out they've been they just died or whatever, and I had no clue. That bothers me a little bit, but in the most, if it hasn't been with somebody that I've known for a while, then I don't really think about it too much. But then with him, just that he was somebody that was really special to me because he was somebody that kind of like in my realm. Like I just wanted to have somebody to hang out with because a lot of people don't find me
Right.
that interesting because I don't drink or I don't smoke or I'm not a bad boy or whatever. I'm just some nerd, that just likes to collect things and play video games and go to movies and stuff. And yeah, and it's just he was somebody who accepted all that stuff and liked that too. Like he was just like a carbon copy of me in a way. I know, we can only handle one of me, right? Well, but we had a lot in common, and that's what made us good friends. And then we would talk online once in a while, and then yeah, last week I found out, and I'm just like, and his sister told me he died of a heart attack. So his name was Jonathan Haig, and yeah, his obituary is at the Kirk family home funeral home in Rapid City. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I wasn't expecting that. So I didn't mean
Well,
to bring it down or whatever, but I just had to get
well,
that
I
off my
got the
chest.
call. I got a call on Thursday night, informing me that this good friend of ours has been involved with sprint car racing forever. He's been in a wheelchair for 30 years, but he's been in sprint car racing forever as a team owner, mechanic, advisor, whatever, board of directors. A dude, he's done it all. Great guy. He still drives a Harley, a trike. Great guy, but the sanctioning body, that those racing guys happened to be out of town that night when I got the call, and I knew they didn't know. So I had to make the call down there to the racetrack and tell the competition director, who is a really good friend of mine, what had happened. And he had to tell the guy whose team this guy advised for that he was dead, and the whole, and it was just a bad deal. I mean, it was a horrible deal, but it's just crazy when that stuff happens, you know?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
2 days before my surgery, my best friend, we're sitting there having coffee. I have coffee with every day for 4 years, 7 days a week. He decides to go home and hang himself over his rafters. I didn't get out in my house, and his wife's calling me screaming and yelling. And I'm like, what the hell's going on, Cat? Mike's down the cellar, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, what? I couldn't understand her. So I go rushing over there and walked in to see my best friend swinging from his rafters.
Oh, no.
Having a real bad time with that. I can't sleep at night. I'm having a dream. Wow. I have a dream every night. He comes, and every time he tries to talk to me, a jackhammer goes or a truck goes by. I can never get the message because he didn't leave a message, you know. And I just don't know what to do. I'm going out of my. Tell you guys, I'm trying to be happy, but I'm going out of my fucking mind. I ain't lying.
Well, I didn't mean to bring the show down. I just wanted to get it off.
Thanks,
chest.
Sean, again.
Yeah, you're welcome.
No, what it is, we don't know. Nobody knows why you did it or whatever. I mean, he had a beautiful wife. He had 2 grandkids, 2 kids, nice car, nice house, good brother, good family, right, John? Brothers were all cool. Why do you do something like that? I mean, you love friends, love you, no problems, you know?
I had an old friend of mine that I grew up with. I mean, I'll be 60. And I got the call here a few months back that he had committed suicide. I mean, that's crazy. We grew up and went to school together, and then I ended up moving out to California, and he joined the Air Force and got sent out to Fairfield in California. So, I mean, we used to hang out in California even. And then here I get a call like a month and a half ago or whatever it was that he did it too. And it's like nobody knows why. And it's a crappy deal. But the way this shows, let's switch this up.
Yes.
Well, you wait. The thing is, guys,
how about them corny jokes?
You know how old, like I said, how old I am? The funny thing is, now you don't see people. It's funny because you'll say, man, I haven't seen you since the last funeral I was at, because it gets to the point when you get a certain age, you only see these people at frickin' funerals, and it sucks ass.
How would you like to be me? I did 20-some funerals a day for 43 years. That was my life.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but they weren't your friends and your family.
Yeah, see, that's a little different story.
It was your job.
Hey, I masturbated yesterday.
I buried my friend.
Good job.
Johnny,
it felt so good. I saved myself $20 from getting a hooker.
Oh, Jesus. Wow. Well, that's just nice to know back up.
Where'd that come from?
Did you treat yourself to dinner after?
Oh my God!
You know, my brother's Mark and never gets mad.
Hopefully, you didn't do that with this. Yeah. Hopefully, you didn't do that with the same hand.
Yeah.
I wash my hands, John.
Wow.
Oh, good. That makes it better.
Yeah, cleanliness, is better than brother, or what is that? Brotherliness or whatever. I don't know what that saying is. Well, anyway, so yeah, enough with the dead talk now. Let's
get happy, huh?
Well, one thing I am looking forward to tomorrow. I'm actually going to be going to Thief River and checking out the Twisters sequel. Anybody interested in that movie? Yeah, the Twisters. Warren on the outdoor drive-in theater. Warren. Yeah, they did pretty well for that. Everybody wanted to see it outside, outside the drive-in. So
they ought to show it on a real windy night.
Yeah.
There you go.
So I mean, Were you guys all fans of the original? Because I have the.
Yeah, it's a good
I
show.
watched it.
I watched
You know, I watched it.
First
I
one
won't.
here on the.
I'll wait till
4K
it's
here.
on Netflix before I probably watch it. But yeah,
Well, yeah. Well, the first one, was always good, and then see the second one's supposed to be. Everybody thinks it's a prequel, but it's a sequel. It's supposed to be like a continuing story. But I don't know much about the characters. I don't know what's really going to happen other than tornadoes, and I love a good natural disaster film. So, I mean, Lance, in your time of doing score and stuff for music, did you ever do natural disaster films and all, and take that up a notch or whatever with your instrumental playing?
I actually never had. There was a documentary that I had done a few things with that I was kind of hoping, depending on where it was going to go, we could get to something like that. But no, that's
have
an
you
over the top one.
Have you ever done a song about a famous wrestler? Hit my music.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sean.
Yeah, you.
yeah, it was about George Scrap Iron Kadaski,
Like what?
Kenny Sodbuster J.
Dude. No eyes
All the guys
but
that
me.
all the guys that got a paycheck getting their ass handed to them.
That was me.
Any comments on, since I know we talked a little last week, but any comments on the Jake Paul, Mike Perry fight this weekend? Did anybody catch at least the results?
I heard about it.
Remember the fight?
Didn't really watch it. Heard about it. Just,
Yeah, I saw it. It wasn't nothing to write home about. Jay Paul kicked his ass.
We deal with Logan Paul.
That's all I
WWE,
heard.
so.
I just heard he won.
Yeah, I mean that's all. I mean that was it. I didn't see it either, but
I really don't.
I had the rare 2-night show this weekend. So we had a big Buffalo Wild Wings King of the Wings 2-day sprint car show up here at our racetrack with 4 different classes of sprint cars. So Friday night I didn't get home till it was probably midnight. Saturday was probably about the same time. So I didn't even hardly watch any TV or nothing all weekend.
Wow.
Sucked. But
can't watch that cloudiness, on the TV.
Yeah, that's right.
Or that film grain, we all love that.
oh,
What I don't understand, like I got they came out with Weird Science on 4K and Blu-ray. They put the Weird Science remastered it on Arrow Video, both versions, and both versions almost look the same. There's so much grain. It's not really a clear movie. It's more like there's a lot of film grain.
You mean like Oingo Boingo Weird Science?
Yeah. I have the Blu-ray of it that I had a steelbook of, and then now I got the 4K that just came out, and my Arrow Video pretty much the same. It's pretty much the same same movie, but different version because of Blu-ray, whatever. But same features, same everything. It was just that everything's restored to 4K as well. And I watched that, and I thought, well, maybe this will be a little bit more clear and colorful. And there it is in some realms, but it's just so grainy. It's just they couldn't really clear that off. They couldn't restore that or get rid of all that stuff.
What's wrong with a little grain?
I don't need that much fiber in my life.
Come on, it's so good.
Oh, that asked that why did for the Halloween films or the Halloween films and the Friday 13th, why are they so clear? Why did Shout Factory go the extra mile or Scream Factory and make them so damn clear?
You know what? And that's it. I was almost going to bring that up, and this is my opinion only. Because it's so clear, it doesn't look real. In my opinion, I don't feel that it adds to the classicness of the way film would transpose with lighting and everything, and it adds an element all to its own. Now, all of a sudden, what's supposed to be a dark room is really clear, and it's not the natural. There's something about it to me that's a little too perfect for certain applications.
Right. You're right, because it looks so real, it doesn't look real. It's
right.
weird.
I mean, yeah, And he's
It's
just a
like,
dude in a
oh,
mask
I've
with a
never
knife,
seen
and I'm
anything
just,
so clear, but it's like too clear,
right.
you know?
Yeah, but isn't that the whole point of restoring film to make it look better than they did on videotape and stuff? That's what I thought. That's what you want.
Restoring, sure. No, I'll go with on the restore, but take Rob Zombie's Halloween. That wasn't, I won't call that a restore, right? He just did
Yeah,
a new one, and
yeah.
it's like, no, where's the darkness of the house? I mean, they live more. It looked more
Yeah,
real,
where's the
maybe
shitty
because
lighting?
right, because people use lights in their house. This is realistic. That's fair, but there was no element of surprise with the light. I don't know.
Well,
Eh.
I tell you what. I got the
Good point.
I got the Police Academy box set. The Shout Factory box set that came out not too long ago. This one right here. Okay, on this TV, on the new TV, it almost looks like a 4K restoration. It looks so clear and colorful. They cleaned it up really
You are a
well.
nerd.
Oh, I'm proud of it every day. Every day. I mean, I'm sorry. I like clarity.
Yeah,
I don't need skips and bops and
That's
pops
gonna
and
go.
whatever.
That'll start declining naturally. That's
Oh,
the good
sure.
news.
the funny thing
That's
is
right.
my wife and I now we spend time watching stuff like reruns of Columbo. I mean,
Oh
was a
my!
huge when I was that growing up, but I never watched it. We watch him now. It's like the greatest. I mean, I laugh my ass off,
You watch it on
and the show lasted for a long ass time.
do you watch it on
But
repeats as
that's
far as
kind of the stuff we watch, you know.
do you watch it on the reruns, or do you actually have the sets like the DVD sets?
We have our TV set whenever it plays on whatever channel it is.
Okay.
We record it, and then when
Sure.
we're sitting around and we got an hour and a half to kill because they vary the shows. It's never a 60-minute show. It's more like a mini movie. And
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Wait,
from the time he started till it evolved into the 80s, there it was. We grew up kind of with them, but I never watched it. It's like all the hit series. I never watched them till a year or two after they were done. I just read about them being in the media, but if I was going to watch TV, it's usually sports or news, and that was it. So I never watched a lot of this stuff. It's weird. I wait till it's a lot of the times the show's done and off the air, and then the pandemic kind of brought that all about, and now
Yeah. Well,
we got somebody joining us.
Yeah, we got Michael Carbone from the Blue
All
Wailers.
right, all right.
How's it going, Michael? How you doing?
I'm doing well. Doing well.
Good.
I had four of my other band members when we thought that our interview was at 5:30, and so we had a miscommunication, and now I've lost them. So you're stuck with only me, but I'm
That's okay.
the band spokesperson anyway. So
yeah, that's okay. I mean, if you were going to get together and play a song for us or whatever, I don't know how Zoom's audio does because sometimes when people try to do that, you can't hear anything. Nobody can hear anything at all. So
right, and if we're remote from each other, then latency is a big problem too. So
yeah. Well, we're happy to have you on anyway. It doesn't matter.
Right on.
I mean, you've been with the band for how long has it been in existence?
Yeah, that's a
I
good
don't know.
question.
I only know so much. I don't know
we
everything.
actually don't know about 25 years, maybe maybe a little more than that, and it's kind of a legacy band of another band we had earlier called Warped Melon, as in a bent head, and so a couple of us started or joined up with a couple other guys and started the Blue Wailers from that beginning with Warped Melon.
Did the Blue Wailers or Warped Melon have you ever played like Fargo Blues Fest before? Because my wife and I have been to a million blues shows around the area. I live right outside of East Grand Forks. My son's lives in Fargo and his family, but we go to all the blues shows, and we know we've seen you, but we can't figure out where.
Sure. Well, you've seen us at the Blues Fest. I personally have probably played the Blues Fest more than any other musician anywhere because I played it with Warped Melon. I played it with the Blue Wailers. I played it with Sean Holt and the Teardrops. And Yeah,
Yeah,
I've been
okay.
around. And then, of course, Marty, our lead guitarist, and one of our vocalists, he was part of Wart Melon, and he played it with Wart Melon. And in fact,
Okay.
Wart Melon almost started because of the Blues Fest. I was a guy who had played drums and played in just bar bands around the
Bar
upper
bands, yeah.
and I quit playing for a while, and my wife and I went to the first Fargo Blues Fest, and I
Yeah,
enjoyed
we
it
were
so
there.
much. I said to her, I'm going to start playing drums again, and she said, "What?" Well, she's kind, and she let me start playing drums again. And Warped Melon, the band I started, played the fifth Fargo Blues Fest, or it might have been the sixth, but it didn't take too long for me to get up on that stage. And Marty and I've been together the whole time. Marty's just a fantastic guy, a great player. And he's a genuine blues guy. I mean, everything he plays comes out of his heart, not off a piece of paper
Right,
and
right.
yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Awesome.
That's cool.
You live in Moorhead?
Yeah, I live in Moorhead. I actually own Drummer's Journey, the drum shop in Moorhead.
Oh, okay.
And so for me now it's drums all day, every day.
So Michael,
wow.
do you have any black beauties laying around the shop anywhere?
Yes.
Lance is a former drummer as well, so he's now that you say that, because I remember now in the promotion video you're the drummer in that video, so
yeah, that's why I mean I'm not gonna I'm sad to not see the other members, but I'm kind of glad if we're only gonna get one, it was you.
Well, I appreciate that. And,
now, okay, you have to elaborate, because back in my day, back in the 80s, Black Beauties was probably something you're not talking about here.
Just think
I
drum
have those
shop
in the store. No, for sure not. But no, it's iconic snare drum from Ludwig that goes way back. I even have a predecessor to the Black Beauty, at 1930. What is it? I can't even remember what it's called, but it's a 15x5, and exactly.
Wow.
And it's
do you know who Jim
Rubber
Johnson
brass,
is here in
and
Grand
it's
Forks?
amazing. Say that again?
Do you know who Jim Johnson is in Grand Forks?
I don't
He's
think
a
so.
mechanic, old school hot rods, but he's a drummer, and he goes to all these drum shows all over the country.
Right on.
So that's right, Black Beauty before.
Right.
But
it's the drummers. It's a drummer's coveted, boy, if I could happen to get one of those.
Right. Exactly.
Wow.
And then, I mean, there's really old ones that are etched that are really, really worth a lot of money.
I have
I've got
a 20-inch copper WFL timpani with the hand crank tuner, as opposed to anything with the dial, no foot pedal. And I bought it from a guy who said, if you don't take it, I'm going to make it into a barbecue. And I was like, it'd be a really cool barbecue, but absolutely not.
Right. I actually noticed that timpani right away, even before I came on. So
yeah, it's my one piece. How long have you been playing drums?
Oh, well, 55 years.
Yeah.
And boy, are my arms tired.
What's your real job?
I used to be in the nonprofit world, and I served as the executive director of the North Dakota Coalition for Homeless People, and also the Fargo Moorhead Homeless Coalition. And retired from that, did some consulting, and decided I needed to open a drum shop. And don't know why, but
cool.
You mentioned the Black Beauty, you mentioned that timpani. I got to share this story with you guys. I had a fellow come into my shop, and he's a well-known drummer around the area, and he's buying a very high-end drum kit. and wanted to trade in some gear. And I said, sure. And he brought a cymbal that he got from a house in his neighborhood, and they were using this cymbal as an air conditioner cover outside. And he'd go out for a walk, and he'd see this cymbal sitting on top of this air conditioner, and he's just, I gotta, if they don't care about the cymbal, I gotta ask him for it. So if he could have it, and they gave it to him. No, oh sure, here, take it. It was what was it, 1957 Zildjian large stamp hollow block in really nice condition, worth about $400. And the thing sounds marvelous,
and it was an air conditioner cover
and being used as an air conditioner.
Wow.
So the gear is where you find it, right? The gear is where you find it.
Yes, it is.
Or where you find them too.
Yeah. I have a friend, and you being privy with the Fargo Moorhead music world more than I am, a prominent guitar player, big for a long time in the Fargo Moorhead area, passed away a few years back, but his wife still had some of his guitars. He was a left-handed guitar player. A friend of mine, musician here in town, he's got a son that plays out of Duluth who's a lefty, and was up here. He helps run hockey camps in Fargo Moorhead. And he had caught wind at guitar, whatever the guitar place is in Moorhead, Fargo, Moorhead, I think.
Yeah.
Said this lady has some guitars, and he called her up. And so my buddy went and looked at these two left-handed guitars. One was the T33 and one was an SG. And he's like, she started playing them, and lady, she started crying. Nobody's played these guitars, and he said, well, this is what I have. I'd love these two guitars. And he knew it wasn't going to put a scratch in what they were worth. And so she called the guitar place there and said this, whatever. And the guy said, well, does it look like he loves playing it? And he goes, they belong with him. Long story short, he gets these two guitars, and they're worth 20 times. He found this out later. But it's amazing with the musicianship. You talk about the old stuff, how it could have meant nothing. These guitars sat in a closet in their case for like 5 years.
You're right.
Somebody's using a cymbal for a freaking air conditioner cover. It's just funny how that works out.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I going way back in time, I had a gal that I knew quite well in high school, and she was a great violinist. And her grandfather was a hermit. And when he passed away, they found a very, very, very old violin under his bed, which at the time they found it, figured was a 100-year-old violin. And that was 50 years ago. She still has it, and plays it. And it's just marvelous, the stories. And it's not just the gear, but it's the people too. Somebody cared, to your story about the two left-handed guitars, somebody cared about that kid enough and connected with him enough to say, well, they belong in his hands,
Yeah.
And
yep.
We get stuff like that in the shop all the time. It's
even though he could make a shit ton of money if he sold those guitars, they'll never leave his hands.
Right.
He would never even think of it.
Yeah, that's cool.
So that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, we have a lot of people in this in our group here that or our crew anyway, that are involved with music and whatnot. We have an Antique Man who was the lead singer for a band called Cocoon over in the Dakotas. Are you familiar with Eric at all, or do you guys know each other at all? From
I don't think so.
No, we haven't had the honor to meet. I did live in Fargo for 35 plus years with a business, and wondered if you or anybody else in that area up around Grand Forks remember a man, Gary Emerson of Emerson Music.
Yep. He's a legend around here.
Yeah,
he's a legend around here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
Gary was a good friend of
big.
mine, and he helped get me going in recording.
Nice. Nice.
And so I got a blues song of my own that's hitting a couple radio stations in Minnesota, and now it appears maybe one in Texas, where I live now. And so I'm still having fun.
Good. Right on. Right on.
Yeah, that's the whole key, I think, is the age thing. It's always a physical aspect, maybe, that could slow a guy down. I mean, like when,
Yes.
it's like, how long you been playing drums? 55 years. I mean, I got a picture. I think I sat down at my first drum kit when I was 4, and I'm almost 56. Kind of the same thing. And
Right.
God, it's always there. And that being able to just say, you know what, screw this. I'm going to go play my drums, or I'm going to go play my guitar, is just, it's a gift. And that's the way I've always thought about it. So yeah, it's a wonderful aspect of life. And those who don't play, who just enjoy, that's also a gift. That's
Yes, it is.
That's great.
Yes, it is.
And we offer drum lessons in our shop, and we've got Matt Tingham as our teacher. Matt is a marvelous, marvelous drummer and a great teacher. And we've got students from 5 to 65.
I taught for 20 years, same thing, one store privately. Yep.
And you get guys that are advanced, guys that are beginners.
Yeah.
You've got guys that are going to become professional drummers, and you've got guys that are going to be hobbyists.
Yep.
It's all good. It's all good.
And sometimes you're just mentoring somebody flat out, just because they need somebody there. So yeah, it's a range. It's a great thing.
Right. And that's our goal. I mean, the store's name is Drummer's Journey, and it's because our goal is to serve drummers throughout the whole journey. You guys know, anytime you learn a musical instrument, you've committed to a lifelong journey of learning, practicing, performing, whatever. And so that's kind of what we try to do. And nothing makes me happier than when I've got a kid that's been coming in for lessons with Matt, and he's starting to get good. And then he buys his first drum set, and wow, yeah, we got a fire going on.
Yep.
Yeah, it's cool when you can see the look in their face, like, I get it. I'm getting it. Because
and when you're in that room, when you are in that room,
get it. And it's
when you witness that light bulb
growing up. Right. What were your influences?
Mine?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, they really ranged a lot. I mean, from Joe Morello to John Bonham. Mitch Mitchell was huge for me. But I kind of got into the prog rock thing then too for a while. Carl Palmer, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But there's recently I've been going back and listening to a lot of the old jazz drummers. There's so many people I overlooked, But
I just listened to Buddy Rich last night on doing one of his solos.
Sure. Well, I met Buddy when I was a kid.
Oh, great.
And he humiliated me in a clinic, though. It wasn't a good experience. But I was probably 13, and I had just maybe 12. And I had begun to attempt to play jazz in 7. And I had one lesson, where my teacher was introducing 7 to me. And so then Buddy's at our high school at this clinic, and he's taking questions. And I said, can you demonstrate a 7/4 jazz rhythm? He slammed his hands down on the snare drum. He slammed it down. He said, of course I can, but I'm not here to demonstrate time signatures. Rah, rah, rah. And he just ripped into me. And he demanded that I come up and play in 7. And I just froze. I just froze. But
oh man.
So that my experience with Buddy was not good. But I mean, I still learned. And
yeah, I agree.
He had his moments. But there's that the night before that clinic, he had played in the Fargo Theater, and there's a story about him nailing his bass drum to the floor so it wouldn't slide, that old trick, And then he left his cymbals in the Fargo Theater, and he borrowed cymbals from a friend of mine. And so he did the clinic, and then he did a concert. And then that night, he actually played a party on a beach at a private home at the Jamestown Dam. Les Lang. Les Lang was an old jazz guy. He's passed away now. His kids were rock guys that I played a lot with. Anyway, so he played this gig with Les's band out on the beach of the lake until about 3 a.m. and used my friend Jim's cymbals. Well, the next day he gave his cymbals back, and they were all the old, 70s or 60s, probably 60s Zildjian A's, and one of them was a 24-inch ride. And he hands him the cymbals, and he hands him the 24-inch ride, and he goes, "This is the only one that's worth a shit." Jim's experience with him was kind of interesting too. But the thing of it is, of course, Buddy could go to the Zildjian cymbal vault and listen to every cymbal, and so he was used to nothing but the best.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have who you think is the best drummer ever? Or are you like me when they say who's the best bass player, because I played bass, or who's your favorite band from being in the music business for as long as I have? I don't have one. I can give you my top 5, maybe 10.
Right.
But
I mean, there's guys I really like. Dennis Chambers. Man, that guy, he's amazing.
Yeah.
But Gene Krupa from way, way, way back, he was amazing. And totally different music. Neil Peart, some guys think he's too perfect.
Yeah.
But yeah, another amazing drummer. But then there's guys like Zigaboo Motorlist, if you want something funky, a drummer with the meters, he's amazing. So what really interests me is the differences between drummers and how they get the job done, and there's guys that are quite elaborate with lots of fills and busy, and guys that just lay down a heavy backbeat, and it's all valid. It's just a matter of being appropriate to the song and supporting the music, supporting the guys in the front of the band, and driving the train.
And with all, because you said, you've done a little bit of rock, you did a little bit of the prog stuff. What was it? Was it a specific thing with the blues that you went, that's it? Or was it just I jammed with these guys and went, wow, we really click?
No, it was love of the blues. I've always loved the blues. And even back when I was a kid, just this is how I actually got into the blues. I was standing in White Drug in Jamestown, North Dakota, and they used to have racks and racks of albums, like a record store almost. And I'm flipping through the records and like, who's this? And it's this guy with this long, silky white hair. Johnny Winter. I didn't know who Johnny Winter was. I'm a kid. Johnny Winter's new on the scene. I buy this album because of that hair. I took it home and I went, holy fuck, look what, wow. I was speechless. I was stunned. Well, from Johnny Winter, you don't have to leap very far to get to Muddy Waters, who was one of Johnny's mentors. And so then once you got Johnny Winter, you got Muddy Waters, the floodgates opened for me and I became a blues fan. So when I formed Warped Melon, the idea was I'm going to go out and find some blues guys. And I mentioned Marty Olson. He the first guy I had was a guy named Dave Klein. He was a professor at Morehead State, very good guitar player and very versatile and stuff. And so we're looking for the next guy. And Marty came in and just killed it. in the audition. He had the leads, he had the feel, he had the vocals, everything. So yeah, we want Marty. And then we found a bass player, and soon after that we were out gigging and stuff. And then the Blue Wailers were kind of an acoustic offshoot of that. We wanted to do something more toned down and more restaurant friendly and stuff. But then eventually Warp Melon, we did put out 3 CDs. We kind of got a couple personnel changes, and it got to be pretty rock and roll type of a feel. And then eventually it died, and then the Blue Wailers just have sort of grown from an acoustic 3-piece band up to an electric 6-piece band. Now we're down to 5 pieces, but we're full bore Chicago style blues.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And is
Yeah,
it fair to
you sound
say,
good. I listened to you yesterday.
Oh,
I mean, is it fair to say, and I mean, I just playing drums and being a musician, but there's musicians, and then there's players, and then there's, like you said, blues guys.
mhm.
There is a difference, isn't there?
Well, there is.
Yeah.
And I mean, you just start the difference between musicians and players,
Right.
Musicians will listen to each other and be able to respond and adapt. And, like yesterday we ran through a song that we played a million times, and the 2 soloists transposed their solos. All the rest of us had to go, oh, well, I guess the break's after his solo, not after his solo. And it makes no difference. It all
Yes.
works. Players listen to themselves, and maybe, I mean, this is the way I interpret the terminology anyway. So you're a guitar player, you learn a guitar part, and you're playing the guitar part. You're playing it note for note the way you learned it off the record or off the tab or whatever. And you're playing with somebody else, and the bass player does something a little different, or the drummer, whatever, and you don't quite know what to do. The song fell apart. Or maybe you weren't even listening well enough to realize that somebody's doing something
The
different.
train wreck has already happened.
The train wreck has arrived. And then there's blues guys that are just right out of the heart, and like I said, I feel that's the way I am on drums, but that's my guy Marty. That's him for sure.
Well,
I should mention the other guys. We've got Randy Schrank, who's a multi-instrumentalist. He primarily plays guitar, a lot of slide guitar and vocals, does some writing and stuff with the band. Most of the time we've got Tim Jorgensen on bass, and Tim has played with the Keller Brothers, and he's toured as opening band for Buddy Guy. But Tim is not always available, and so then we use Denny Kingsley. Denny has been around forever. He's played with the Blue Wailers dozens and dozens of times, Warp Melon as well. But he's done, like he was with the Shuffle Cats years ago. He's done fill-in work with Lamont Cranston and stuff like that. For a long time, he just retired, and a very soulful harp player named Bob Waters. And he's out in the Lake Country, and he's playing a little bit, but just recently retired from the band after about 20 years. And then we've got Dave Gross on keys, and he's a recent addition. And Dave plays piano and organ and whatever other patch you ask him to pull up. And Dave's a great guy, very easy to work with.
That's cool. Well, I mean, for this year's festival that you guys are going to be playing, other than playing itself, or you guys playing the festival, what bands are you looking forward to hearing that maybe you've never heard before live, or is everybody that they got this year like a repeat? Oh, you've heard before.
But there's a lot of repeats. We're playing the same day that Lamont Cranston does, and we've got a long history with Lamont Cranston. Warp Melon more so than the Blue Wailers, but both of us have opened for Lamont several times, and know Pat, and the rest of them. So I always look forward to seeing those guys. They're a treat, And a couple of years ago, they did they had their 50th anniversary, and all year long was 50th anniversary parties. And we opened for them at TAC for one of those, and that was great. I don't know. I look forward to everybody, and if I've never heard them before, then I'm even more curious to hear what's coming. I'm really curious to hear what kind of blues songs Papa Chubby's going to play. But
well, he's
That's
he's
gonna
not
be a good
actually.
show.
Well, he's not going to be there this year. They replaced him because he has some
that's
health
right.
issues, and I've been following his
Oh,
posts online. But yeah, the guy, the other guy, Mr. Pibb or Mr. Gibb or Mr.
Yeah,
Somebody. Yeah, I probably
Mr.
butchered
Sip,
it. Mr.
Mr.
Sip.
Sip.
Michael,
Yeah.
you know Lamont Crampston pretty good.
Yes.
You talked to him quite a bit.
Well,
Just
I wouldn't say quite a bit, but it kind of depends on what's going on. But
you
when
want to
he
get a rise out of him.
quite a bit. What's
And
that?
I'm just throwing this out there because I know people from his hometown, rodeo people. And the first time I met him, they were doing a gig in Grand Forks, and I was working radio then, and I said, "Hey," I said, "do you know a guy named Shorty Dorweiler?" And he looked at me and he goes, "Does everybody in the fucking world know Shorty Dorweiler or what?" And we kind of hit it off there. So I was going to say, if you can remember the name Shorty Dorweiler, ask him if he knows him and see what kind of rise you get out of him.
I will. I will. That's funny. Yeah, Pat has told a million great stories in all our encounters, and he's always had time for a little advice too, professional advice. He's a good guy.
Yeah, and he's been doing it forever. He's been playing for a long time.
Yeah. The first time I ever saw them was in the St. Paul Civic Center on the second night when they did that Stones tour that really, really launched them to the
Yep.
national stage. And that was amazing. They had Lamont Cranston, Stray Cats, and the Rolling Stones. And Lamont Cranston got up there the first time I had heard him, and I really enjoyed it. I thought they were a great band. And then the Stray Cats came up, and they didn't get booed off the stage, but they were met with chants of Rolling Stones through their whole set.
Oh, geez.
And I felt really bad because that was when they were in their heyday. But I think two opening bands for the Stones was maybe a little too much, and people were quite eager to.
The true musicians might appreciate the Stray Cats just because they're a three-piece, and face it, Brian Setzer is a pretty darn good guitar player. But yeah, I get it.
Yes, he is. And I'm really happy to say my son just gave me Stray Cats tickets for my birthday here. Not too long ago.
Cool.
Yeah, because they're coming up.
Imagine being what's his name, Too Slim or whatever the drummer's name is. Imagine you don't even hardly need a drum tech. You could carry everything in one trip.
Slim Jim Phantom.
You mentioned Neil Peart earlier. Imagine being his drum tech. Oh my God.
There's a story behind Slim Jim Phantom's kit, and I heard this a long time ago, and he didn't tell me, so I'm not going to swear on a stack of Bibles, but the story that I heard was that when he was a kid, he was living in his parents' house, and he had a room in the basement, and he got this big 7, 8, 9-piece drum set, a Neil Peart wannabe drum set, and had it in his basement, and he's playing and gets a gig and hauls the drum set up out to the gig, hauls it back down, sets it up again, does that again the next week. The third week, he switched to a 2-piece stand-up.
So he got smarter than all of us way quicker.
The heck with carrying all this stuff. And then
I
he
hated
did that
playing
forever.
bass. Some freaking bass amps were so damn heavy to lug up and down stairs. Didn't he marry like Britt Eklund or something?
I don't know. I don't know.
I think he did because she was like older than him by a ways, but I think he married like Britt Eklund, some old actress.
Right. Well, good for him. Yeah, right on.
Just a quick question, and going back to what you had asked, what drummers we know, and I saw Terry Bozzio in Fargo. You know the guy?
Yeah.
by name.
Yeah.
He must have like 20 drums around him, but
Right.
he's quite excellent.
I saw him one time and I didn't realize I was going to see him, but I went and saw Dweezil Zappa at the I think it was at the Orpheum.
Uh-huh.
And so they're set up, and I mean, Dweezil had a very elaborate setup, and I don't remember who was playing drums for him. But off on the side of the stage was this huge yellow drum set with 500 million cymbals on it.
Yeah.
I wonder what that's going to be. Well, Bosio, of course, was Dweezil's dad's.
Frank. Yeah.
And so then all of a sudden Bosio comes out and I'm like, how could I not recognize that drum set, and he did this amazing solo and he's got all these cymbals and they're all tuned and especially made for him, and they're just, it just was amazing. And
it's amazing.
So much metal. And then, so he's playing with Dweezil and then Steve Vai comes out. And so Steve Vai's there, and everybody's really, I mean, when Bosio came out, everybody went nuts. When Steve Vai came out, you multiply that times two. They're playing, and Bosio's playing, and everybody's eyes are on Steve Vai. And then all of a sudden you look over, Bosio's gone, Kit's gone, he's gone, everything.
Oh boy.
They struck him, while the next part of the show started. And that was really cool. But then I went home and I'm looking through old Modern Drummer magazines, and there's one with an interview with Bosio, and he's saying there's a picture of his kit, all toms, no cymbals. And he says, "Yeah, I really don't like metal sounds. I'm using all toms, and I can play really melodically." And he's talking about all this stuff he can do with this drum set, and it was the exact opposite of what he's using recently with all these specially made.
Sure.
And
sure.
So I don't know how or why I found that article, but it was right after I had seen him, and I thought, wow, well, here's a guy who's really evolved over time, which I thought was cool because all of it was great.
Well, we appreciate having you on, Mike. I mean, really, the stories you could tell, I tell you, that's for sure.
Some of them I won't.
Okay. That's right. We'll pay you more to say more.
Right on.
But for those that are wondering how to find you guys, which is pretty easy, but how can people find you that want to know more about you and your band?
Well, follow us on Facebook, The Blue Wailers. We've got a website, thebluewailers.com. We have not been playing a lot recently because we've got a lot of spousal illness in the band right now, to where we got guys who don't want to travel, and so we've had to pass on quite a few gigs. But the Blues Fest obviously is going to be great. We've gone up to Little Bobby's a few times recently. We used to be a kind of a house band at the Hodo, and then they sold out to the Blarney Stone. And if they come and see us at the Blues Fest, you will hear a brand new original song never played in public before, paying tribute to and honoring the Hodo. And so I encourage you to come out for that. There'll be a couple other originals. There'll be a Freddie King song we've never done before, and some of our old originals that people have come to expect to hear over the last 20 years, and standards as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Great.
Absolutely. Well, we appreciate you, Mike.
Yeah,
and,
thank you for coming on.
And thank you to all your bandmates too. Even though we may have got mixed up in our communication or whatever, but we appreciate your bandmates as well, even if they couldn't show up.
Right on. I'll let them know, and I'll tell them it was. I'll say it was okay.
Yeah.
It's been great, you guys. I really appreciate it.
Hey, Mike, I got my kid and his wife and grandkids live in Fargo. If a guy is ever in the area and wants to get together for a beer, is it easy to get a hold of you or not?
Oh yeah, just reach out on Messenger,
Okay.
stop in at the shop. You know,
Oh yeah.
whatever works.
Okay. Perfect. All right. Thanks,
Right on.
man.
Yeah,
Hey,
I'll be
thank you, guys.
checking out the Drummer's Journey website.
Right on. Sounds good, you guys.
All right, Mike, and I think we'll just end it like that for tonight. This has been another great edition of Renegade Radio. We got with Lance Warlock, John Roberts, Antique Man, Mad Dog, Screamer Sam, and Michael Carbone from Blue Wailers, and myself, Frankie Slauson. Next week we got another blues musician coming to our show. His name is Stephen Taylor. He's an up and coming blues musician from California. So you want to stay tuned for that. But other than that, this has been another great edition of Renegade Radio, and we'll see you next week.
Music.
Bye bye, everybody.
Bye.